It looks like Ryan Garcia versus George Kambosos Jr. could be next, and it could be confirmed by Robert Garcia. And it seems like both of these guys don't want no parts of Devin Haney. Let's talk about it. In this King Jr. got another video for y'all. So we have some shocking news. As former interim champion who fought Luke Campbell 2 years back, I believe, Ryan Garcia stated that for a week now that he could be facing against the new unified lightweight champion of the world in George Kambosos Jr. I'm not surprised that this fight is going to happen. Obviously, both of these guys want a cherry pick because they believe they're not fighting the best of the best. I think Ryan Garcia is a disgrace to the sport of boxing. What has he done for damn near 2 years to deserve a fight with George Kambosos Jr.? Obviously, George Kambosos Jr. was doing all this rant and talking about how Devin Haney team is not willing to take the money or making the fight happen. And, you guys know the whole debacle with the whole situation. George Kambosos wanted to tell Devin Haney to sell his jewelry, put up big amount of money. It's not about the money. It's about the belt and legacy, and he says out of his own mouth that he knows he has to be Devin Haney, become undisputed. Then he flip-flops and turns around and says Devin Haney turns down money, and Bill Haney said, what money, what contract have y'all sent? Y'all haven't, we agreed to everything y'all sent. So obviously they don't want this fight. George Kambosos doesn't want this fight with Devin Haney. But here, when Ryan Garcia comes into the mix and stated that I know I could beat George Kambosos Jr., I'll knock him out. We've seen Ryan Garcia on numerous occasions stating that he wants to fight Manny Pacquiao, Gervonta Tank Davis, Devin Haney, which he's never going to fight, and Isaac Pitbull Cruz, who he definitely ducked, and the Mexican fans did not appreciate him ducking Isaac Pitbull Cruz. I don't care what anybody say, he ducked Isaac Pitbull Cruz 100%, and Isaac Pitbull Cruz style is all wrong for Ryan Garcia. And with that being said, Ryan Garcia looks like he's going to begin the shot at George Kambosos Jr. But the question begs to differ is, what has he done to get a shot with George Kambosos Jr.? The last fight we seen Ryan Garcia, I believe, was 2020 when he fought Luke Campbell and got damn near knocked out and got dropped in the round. And he came back and knocked Luke Campbell out in the later rounds. But this makes absolutely no sense. But it seems like the stuff that Robert Garcia, that Lou DiBella exposed to Robert Garcia, seems like this is going to come to fruition. And Lou DiBella had no interest of fighting Devin Haney as well, because Lou DiBella says that Devin Haney is an email champion. If Devin Haney is such an email champion, such a walk through the park, why you just don't fight him? That shows the Spartan warrior in George Kambosos Jr., and it shows the little girl in Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia is not the major pay-per-view star. I don't know why George Kambosos Jr. going after Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia did $250,000 at the live gate, so he has made no money. What the boxing world is trying to do is they're trying to convert Ryan Garcia into the next Jake Paul, which it obviously failed. Ryan Garcia has all those social media followings with teenagers and young adults, but they do not care about the sport of boxing. And the question begs to differ is, he hasn't not convert those Instagram followers into dollars, which Jake Paul has converted his YouTube and Instagram followers into dollars, and they seem to have interested in the boxing world. With that being said, Ryan Garcia looks like he could be facing Emmanuel Togo as a tune-up fight. George Kambosos Jr. Could be fighting, I don't know, whoever for a tune-up fight as well. Once these two beat their tune-ups, they're eventually going to have a showdown for all the three belts that George Kambosos Jr. is holding, and it obviously makes no sense. Lou DiBella had the plan all along to make a deal for Ryan Garcia and Robert Garcia. Shout out to Robert Garcia for exposing him for this. I'm going to state this as well. Robert Garcia thought, no, Lou DiBella thought that they called Robert Diaz looking for Golden Boy Promotions manager, whatever or not, to get it done with Ryan Garcia, whatever or not. And Robert Garcia exposed him for who he was. According to reports that DAZN Well, according to Ryan Garcia, I believe it was Ryan Garcia. Ryan Garcia says that DAZN had I think it was Ryan Garcia or Robert Garcia. They had no interest of making the fight between Devin Haney and George Kambosos Jr. This is another big left down by Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn talks about how we could make these fights happen, but he's not willing to make the big fights happen. And it's just coming to a debacle at this point. Like I said before, this is just my opinion, guys. I said this a while back. I told you guys Devin Haney is the most feared lightweight at 135. If Devin Haney is such a soft puncher, if Devin Haney has no skills, if Devin Haney's an email champion, why is these guys not fighting him, huh? Tell me that. Why is these guys aren't fighting Devin Haney? If he's such a walkthrough through the park, why you guys won't fight Devin Haney? Y'all say he's a boring fighter. If he's a boring fighter, go ahead and get him out the way. Prove him that you can knock him out. It just obviously makes no sense. And we heard Canelo Alvarez on numerous occasions that Ryan Garcia is not dedicated to the sport of boxing and he needs to take it seriously and he's wasting all that talent for nothing. And I have to agree with Canelo Alvarez at the end of the day. Maybe it's time for Ryan Garcia to get out of boxing for real. But this guy, Ryan Garcia, at the end of the day, he's not a big boxing star. The diehard boxing fans doesn't even like him. Even half of the Mexican fans doesn't even like him. And some of the Mexican fans only like Ryan Garcia because he's with Canelo Alvarez. If Ryan Garcia wasn't with Canelo Alvarez from the jump, nobody would know who Ryan Garcia is, and nobody would definitely get a damn about Ryan Garcia. But it seems like it could be confirmed that George Kambosos Jr. versus Ryan Garcia for all those belts that Kambosos has. This is obviously a debacle. This obviously is a disgrace of boxing. This is this type of stuff that ruins the sport of boxing. Both of these guys are going to have tune-up fights allegedly, and then they're going to fight. It makes absolutely no sense. Both guys are officially ducking Devin Haney. But at the end of the day, boxing is boxing. You guys know how the business is. With that being said, it is what it is. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. This is your boy King Jr. I'm out of here. Peace.